A very warm good afternoon and greetings to all of you who taken the courage to come despite travel warnings and other problems going around. Yesterday we had more than 600 people in the main inaugural ceremony of the event. So people from more than 30 countries here. We have taken the basic preliminary precautions to distribute a mask and sanitizer, etc. So we hope everybody will be safe, and that is the top priority. Advice to sanitize hands as often as possible. This is the third time we are doing a parallel session on city gas distribution as part of the India Smart Utility Week. But still we could not what you call motivate many of the new licensees, more than 30 or 40 new companies who have been given licenses to over 100 new towns. So we also, besides this India Smart Utility Week, which we do as a big program in March, we do a very focused program in November, which is only for the electricity distribution companies. So the one which we did in 2019 November, we kept a plenary session where we wanted to introduce the electricity companies with the gas distribution companies, and there we had a fairly better turnout of some new distribution licensees. And the proposal which we made was basically sharing of customer data and other assets to the extent possible. For the new licensee in a new city, the very valuable information is the customer data. So how do we actually proceed officially? Many of them are in principle okay with that. So we have been trying to bring in PNGRB, kind of a collaboration with the CERC, Central Electricity Regulatory Commission. So when PNGRB officially write to CERC, we will take that into the forum of regulators. Unlike you have only one PNGRB, we have at national level we have one CERC, Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, and every state has their own state electricity regulatory commission. Most of the work which the distribution companies are doing, they are regulated by the DISCOMs are regulated by the state regulatory commissions. But we have a statutory body which constituted of chairman of all the state regulatory commission and the chairman of the CERC. They meet once in 2 months. So FOR, the deliberations of FOR are mandatory for all the state to comply with. So FOR, we would like to make a presentation, but I wanted to do that post PNGRB fully come on board and make a official request that we have issued some 100 or 200 licenses in new cities where it will be advantageous for those people to start operation if electricity companies distribution companies in those cities share their customer data. It can be through proper MOUs and agreements and arrangements, but that process has to start, and we would like to kickstart that ASAP. And another important thing which we have spoken in 2 weeks ago, we had a very important seminar in BIS along with the IEC. There we have brought the issue of the standards for smart meters. So they are okay. We have to, I would request IGL or even Isgf can write a request letter to BIS to constitute a technical committee which will draw standards for gas meters. So today the total number of city gas distribution customers are going to be multiplying in next 5 to 10 years, maybe 10 times, maybe 20 times. So there are no standards for gas meters here. A BIS standard is not there, which is very much required for interoperability, and the pain point which electricity industry gone through in last 2 decades, we don't need to go through the same thing, reinventing the wheel. So there is a need for a standard, and BIS is fully aware of that, how we achieved that interoperability in the electricity meter through DLMS protocol, a common data, the messaging service protocol we have implemented. Need not be that complex, but there has to be a standard for gas AMR meters, so that all new connections you can from day one start with the AMR, no need for first put a manual meter and then change over to a AMR meter at a later date. So these are some of the things which this relationship between electricity companies and gas distribution companies, which would be mutually beneficial, and we are willing to play that role of that matchmaker, and which we have been offering for the last 2 years, and we will look forward to take this journey forward collaboratively. End of the day, the end customer is same. It's the same house where electricity is supplied by the DISCOM and gas given by the city gas distribution companies. So once we make some progress, which we can actually, it started with IGL and TPDDL I believe that there are some small teething troubles, but ultimately it will become a bigger success story. So in the gas side, when we have success story, that's the time we will advocate the water distribution companies also to come on board and become partners, a utility partnership ecosystem to be built where many things can be shared, and even for the technology companies it could be much more advantageous to offer their technology to all these three companies in a unified platform. Particularly if you have time, when you walk around, you will see in the exhibition place there is one booth which Gupta Cables. It's one small booth is there. There they have displaying some electrical cable, a small piece of the cable. The latest trend is that in the same cable itself there is a small tube in which fiber optic cables are put in. Actual cost of that cable, because there is a fiber optic pair, 6 pair or 12 pair, it's not increasing even by 1%. Okay, so I'll tell you the cost of my cable laying when I do it in 11 kV or even in my the distribution line, the LT cable, when I do per kilometer, it goes to something like 20 lakhs rupees, and I pay another 80 lakhs rupees to the MCD for digging. So per kilometer of my cable cost and cabling all put together is, some places it's 20 to 25 lakhs depending on the quality of the cable. The same thing I am getting with 12 pair of fiber optic cable. Without maybe 30,000 rupees extra I pay for the cable, I get that. Perhaps even less. Only the fiber to copper termination, for my own electrical part I need to take only two pair, one standby, one I use. Look at the bandwidth which I get. All my substations, my transformer, everything I am getting a ready-made, dedicated fiber optic net connectivity, broadband connectivity with that. I don't need to rely on the Vodafones and Airtels of the world. I don't need to pay money. More than the payment to them, the problem of the reliability of their services. And this is very, people don't cut electrical cable as often as they cut water pipelines. So we get that complete connectivity. And this is something which many places, GAIL has put fiber optic network running into 30 or 40,000 kilometers. Power Grid has done it on their high voltage power line. Those days it used to cost very high. Today it costs nothing. Fiber cost almost nothing. That's why I said 1% of the marginal cost, we can establish that connectivity. And for the last mile, we have other technologies, very successful technologies like LoRa or RF mesh. So we are completely independent, the company owned network. This is the latest trend. I see in US also, in Europe also. Europe mostly gone on PLC, but otherwise in US, most of the places they had RF. RF used to have different problems. So the latest trend is that they are all today laying down their own fiber. When you do fiber separately again you have to digging cost or putting on the pole cost, but the new distribution areas we are advocating. Yesterday our Secretary Power came, he saw that. He is seeing that on the electrical cable there is fiber optic ingrained in that for the first time. He said, I am going to make it mandatory in all the new central government funded distribution upgrade and other programs. So there are many things. These things you didn't know about it. Many good things which city gas distribution companies are doing are not known to our DISCOMs. So this collaboration will be mutually beneficial. It will bring down the cost of doing business and learn from each other rather than reinventing the wheel. With that motto, Isgf is offering our services to make this viable and successful. And I wish today's deliberations successful, and I also request everybody to walk around the place. There are a lot of people who are doing smart metering. So same pieces of the technology will be relevant for AMR and smart metering of the gas meters. Thank you very much. I wish a very, very productive, successful day for all the participants. Thank you.